Good morning, everyone. Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today, I have a methamphetamine chirp report for you. The title of this chirp report is Party Ended in Intensive Care, and was submitted to Irwid in 2007 by the user Anonymous. With all that being said, let our story begin. Up until this event, I was a coke addict. My usual dealer wasn't answering his phone, so I called a new guy who said he was out of cocaine and offered me and my girlfriend some crystal meth. Of course, we were simply dying to get high, and although I thought about it and was somewhat uncomfortable with trying something new, I agreed when he told us he would give us the first gram for free, and even told us how much to use, according to how much cocaine we would normally sniff over 2 to 3 days, to cut it down by 75%, because he said this stuff was much stronger. Well, we didn't listen, and about 2 hours after he gave us the first gram, we called for more. This stuff was intense. I felt great, kinda like I did when I did lines of cocaine, but so much better. I didn't get my usual restless feeling, where I couldn't stand a song for more than 30 seconds, or the paranoid feeling where I thought every car behind me was a cop car. I had been doing coke much too long and too often, and my good buzzes were long gone. I felt absolutely amazing, full of energy, happy. Every song on the radio was my favorite, and my girlfriend and I just wanted to drive around talking and laughing, bouncing around to our favorite song. And when cocaine would usually entrap us in my car for 3 days in a row without wanting to face anyone, we already knew this drug was a party drug, and actually wanted to stop people on the street to talk or go for a drive with us. This stuff was good. So we got 3 more grams, despite the dealer telling us that that was way too much for 2 people, and called it the start of a weekend. I was really high on this stuff and don't remember too much, but I do remember going back to my old apartment, which I'd moved out of the same month, and only had 2 weeks left, so the electricity was cut off and there was no furniture left. But in order to escape my live-in boyfriend and his questions, we settled in with candles and a mini portable radio. We called around and invited 2 guys over to party for the first night. Drove around all day and night the following day, just the 2 of us. We didn't leave the car much, and we were just so damn happy and in the moment. We finally decided to go back to my apartment when my eyes were bugging out on me and I couldn't see the streetlights and stuff properly. Stupid, I know. That night, the second night, I started feeling paranoid. I spent all night looking out the window, thinking every car or footstep was someone after us. I then started feeling anxious and had some difficulty breathing, but nevertheless we kept going. By morning, I was completely stoned beyond recognition. We retired to the floor, laying there talking, when I noticed my breathing was getting crazy. I couldn't take deep breaths. My shoulders started to throb, and my arms felt numb. But I didn't want to freak out my girlfriend, so instead of saying anything, I asked her to go for a walk with me. The entire time I had shooting pains in my arms and shoulders, My lungs hurt every time I took a breath, and my throat felt like it was closing in on me. I was freaked out. I confessed to her I wasn't feeling right and needed to go home. We drove back to my place, and I told my boyfriend about what I did and how I felt. He told me to have a shower and lay down, so I did. The entire time, my body was really odd. Everything felt numb and tingly, and I couldn't explain it, but I thought something was seriously wrong. When I was in the shower, I noticed that my knees were looking a bit blue, but since my vision was so altered, I ignored it. Big mistake. My boyfriend helped me into bed, and I laid there alone for about 5 minutes while he talked to my girlfriend about how much I did, etc. Because at this point, I was convinced I was overdosing. While I was laying there, I got a sharp pain from the tip of my middle finger up to my elbow in my right arm. It was the strangest feeling ever. I was crying and scared, so I called my boyfriend to the room. By then, my arm was turning white and tingled. My fingers were wrinkly and also very white, so I told him I needed to go to the hospital. On the way there, my arms and legs got really numb. I kept trying to shake it off to get my circulation going, but it wouldn't work. About 5 minutes into the drive, my hand turned blue. It was the freakiest thing I ever saw, and it only lasted about 30 seconds. But my boyfriend also saw it and started to panic. I told him I was dying, that I knew it and I was sorry. I started telling him my final wishes, as both my arms and hands were now completely blue. This was it. I was dying. So many things crossed through my mind. Not only was I high as a frickin' kite, but I was gonna die before I made it to the hospital. All I remember after that was everyone yelling in the emergency room, yelling at the nurse to hurry up, that I was overdosing and needed immediate help. Everyone was looking at me funny, and someone asked me what was happening to me. I told him I had no circulation in my body anymore. I was crying. They immediately stripped me down and put heating blankets all over me because my body was freezing. I was hooked up to a batch of monitors and had about 10 nurses and doctors around me. I remember at one point there were 3 doctors discussing my situation, and one of them called another hospital. He was saying he had never seen anything like this, and asked what he should use as poison control or something like that. Then I heard him say, "You think she needs a bypass?" and hung up and left the room with the other doctors. They returned what felt like hours later to say that they had to give me something. I can't remember what or why, and would wait to see if it worked before attempting to open me up. I was convinced I was dying. All I could hear was monitors and people talking loudly. I kept asking the nurse if I was going to die, and she had tears in her eyes. All she would say is, "I don't know." She looked at my heartbeat on the screen and rushed to talk to a doctor. I was told my heartbeat was very irregular, and my blood pressure was not looking too good. I can't remember the exact words to anything, but my boyfriend told me some stuff later as well. My entire body was still blue and freezing, and no matter how many blankets or how much heat they applied, it wasn't working. I was told my system was shutting down, but my heart was still beating. What that means, I still don't know. A doctor told me I could lose my limbs, all of them, if my circulation didn't start back up. I spent the next few hours or minutes praying to be given another chance and that I would never touch drugs again. I was given something to make me pass out and relax me, and was wheeled into intensive care. All I remember after this was having my blood taken once, because it hurt like hell. I later found a bruise the size of my arm there. I was in intensive care for 3 days, highly drugged up with my boyfriend at my side every single waking moment. He later confessed to me that he didn't think I would make it. After all, the doctors told him it wasn't looking too good. I can't imagine what he had to go through because of me. I still don't know for sure what happened to me, because when I was released, I was still drugged up and couldn't ask questions, and I don't remember any of the doctors that took care of me. I choose to forget it all. It has been 1 year and a few days since this episode, and I am now engaged to my boyfriend and have a newborn baby. Needless to say, I never touched drugs after this event, and don't plan on it. Alright, everyone. That is the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Share with us your meth experiences down in the comments below. Check out the other videos and playlists on my channel, and I will see you in the next one, fam. Deuces.